Are you all set, Mr. Van Beek? Excellent. Good evening. You are here for the regular City Council meeting for August 4, 2021. Welcome to those that are here. Welcome, City Council members, and welcome anyone who is watching us at home. We will start with a roll call vote. Kathy, would you please call the roll? Or roll call, I'm sorry, attendance roll call. Would you please call the roll?
Byrd.
Present.
Peters. Garcia. Trethewey.
Here.
Arnshorst. Here. Corbin. Here. Hoekstra.
Here.
Raymond. Here. Mayor Bocks.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Great, thank you. We're going to start the meeting this evening as we have for many years. First with an opening prayer this evening by me, and then immediately followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And we would invite you to join us if you would like. Please pray with me. Lord, thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for the opportunity for this council and members of staff to once again share a meal together. I was reminded of the saying that where two or more are gathered, you are there. It feels so good to be able to be together, to talk with one another in a setting that's not simply a formal setting. It feels good to get back to normal, Lord. And in this great frame of mind, let us do the business of the people of Holland. Let us have ears to hear. Let us listen. Give us wisdom. Help us make good decisions with the camaraderie and the good spirit that you've given us. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Next item are our consent agenda items. These are items that are considered to be fairly routine and have been previously reviewed by council members as part of our packet. And they will be enacted with one motion unless there's a member of the audience or a member of council that asks to have an item removed from the consent agenda and placed in its regular place on the regular agenda. But before asking if anyone wants to remove an item from the consent agenda, Kathy, would you please review the consent agenda for us?
Items 4A, absence excused, council members Peters and Garcia. 4B, approval of minutes, July 14th, 2021 study session and July 21st, 2021 regular meeting. 4C, oaths of office. 4D, written petitions and communications, tax abatement PA 198, Scott G. LLC, 105 Veterans Drive. 4E, city attorney, amendment of adoption of the UDO. 4F, City Attorney, amendments to Holland City Code Section 18-27 and 18-50. 4G, City Clerk, claims. 4H, City Clerk, Night Magic Displays Firework Request, Hope College, September 3rd, 2021. 4I, Finance, set public hearing to create an industrial development district for property located at 1321 M40 and 1301 Waverly Road. 4J, Finance, set public hearing for PA 198 tax abatement for Scott G. LLC for property located at 105 Veterans Drive. 4K, Management Administrative Services, revocable license agreement, projecting sign, 12 West 8th Street.
Great. Thank you, Kathy. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to have an item removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda? Seeing none, is there any member of council that would like to have an item removed from the consent agenda, placed on the regular agenda? Ms. Raymond?
Yes, H, please. Thank you.
So we will have the request is to have item number H, or item lettered H, placed on the regular agenda, and that will go as item 12D3, and we will deal with it at that point. Anyone else? Seeing none, what is the pleasure of council in regard to the consent agenda?
Motion to adopt agenda as presented and amended.
Moved by Trethewey. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Byrd. Any discussion? Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Byrd.
Yes.
Trethewey.
Yes.
Arnshorst.
Yes.
Corbin.
Yes.
Hoekstra.
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Mayor Bocks?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you, Kathy. Next item on our agenda, item number 5, is public comment. During every one of our meetings under the Open Meetings Act, we give the public the opportunity to speak to council. This is an opportunity for you to address us directly. We do not answer questions at this time, nor do we engage in communication, but it's your opportunity to talk about anything that you would like to talk about where there is not otherwise a public hearing on the agenda. During our regular meetings, we allow for 5 minutes for each person. You'll see that there are 3 lights on the dais in front of me: a green light, which means you're doing well on time; a yellow light, which means you have 1 minute left; and a red light, your time has expired, and we are strict about that. So we would ask that you finish your comments at the time the red light comes up if you have not already. And when you come to the podium, we please ask that you state your name and address for the record. Is there anyone here who would like to address council at this time? Yes, please come forward, ma'am. And as I said, would you please state your name and address for the record?
Hi, my name is Teresa Weiss, and I live at 69 Cheyenne Ave. Thanks for allowing me to speak to you today. I really appreciate all that you do for Holland. It's becoming increasingly clear that climate change is affecting people's lives. Some people are even moving to new cities because climate change has affected them so severely. One example was highlighted recently in an article on Bridge, Michigan. Don Corby is a recent resident of Duluth, Minnesota. He moved there because he was exhausted from the hurricanes in the south. After 3 years of hurricanes in Florida, he tried to move to Georgia, only to be hit by Tropical Storm Zeta, so he moved to Duluth. A professor, Jesse Keenan, declared Duluth a climate haven after conducting research on how the city might fare amidst global changes. His answer was that they'd do pretty well, along with the rest of the Great Lakes region. When Duluth's mayor heard her city might be considered a climate haven, she scoffed at the idea. She thought someone was probably crying wolf, but now she knows better, and she's planning for it. The whole city is. As we look at the years ahead, let's prepare for new changes. Let's prepare for an influx of community members. After all, climate change is not just an environmental issue, it's a social issue too. When we think about climate change, we need to think about housing accessibility. As more people enter our city, how will this affect the housing market? How can we still make homes affordable to lower middle class workers? Transportation will also become another key component, and of course, during this time, the Midwest will not necessarily be immune to climate change. We'll need to ensure that utilities can withstand unexpected temperature swings and extremes to provide for its citizens. It's a complex puzzle. I say all of this not to make you anxious, but to assure you that climate havens are no myth, and given its position in the Midwest and Great Lakes region, Holland is a part of these havens. Let's work hard to make sure our doors are safe and open. But first, let's do everything we can to keep the places people already call home safe for them. Let's set our goal and aim for carbon neutrality by 2050. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to address council at this time? Yes, sir, with a Michigan shirt on. You do have at least one supporter here on the.
Yeah, I know the guy is.
Yeah, would you please state your name and address for the
My
record?
name is Zeke Delarosa, 45 Bellwood Drive. I was here probably 2 years ago when we were fighting with the Bellwood situation about opening or not opening the road. And we, with your help, I wasn't fighting about the condos and everything. I was worried about Maya. She was born blind, okay? And now, because of your help, you guys have given her a healthy life, a quality of life that she couldn't have had without your help. So when I see her zipping down Bellwood with her hoverboard, I always think of you, man. And you guys touched that one little child. And I thank you for that. But what I'm here for really is I like to see Holland Collin Park become an inclusive park. Just because the parks have ramps doesn't mean they're handicap accessible. And I don't know how many children, I know at least 2 children in Maya's class that are confined to wheelchairs. I like to see playground equipment so that every child can play. That's the nature of a child. It's sad to see them confined to a wheelchair, But I like to see new playground equipment that includes the disabled and the handicapped. I think that's one group that we've missed completely. I heard, well, I emailed you and you told me, well, Collins Park is a newer park and it doesn't need new equipment. But no one ever thought about the handicapped children. I would have never thought about it until we found out Maya was blind. But I like to see every child that comes after her to be able to have the same chance to play like a kid. I mean, I've seen swings where you can put wheelchairs on. And I like to see Collins Park because that's our prettiest park. And Maya, she could be playing on some swing or something, but she can hear the water. What she can't see, she can hear a mile away. And I like to see the city do something with our parks, because our parks are not handicapped accessible. Small board park? Not really. Moran Park? It just got a ramp. I like to see more equipment that uses sensory, the feeling. And so that's what I like to see, is for handicapped children that come after her to have a chance to play like a normal child. I mean, I hear the word inclusiveness, but we haven't included the disabled children. I mean, I thought downtown hired a person to make it more inclusive. I might be mistaken, but, you know, we got to make our children, in whatever disability or whatever ability, is to be included, to have a chance to play like a normal child. You know how hard it is? When we found out Maya was blind, it was hard. And I thought, what kind of life can she lead? And these children, I've seen when we took her in and out, special schools, kids in wheelchairs, they're not included in our parks. And I like to see Collins Park become an inclusive park for all children. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to address council at this time? Yes, sir. Please come forward. And would you please state your name and address for the record?
Yes. My name is John Byer. This is my wife, Stephanie. And we live at 4 West 12th Street. And I just want to say I certainly second, third, and fourth what you said. I think that's great.
We need you to speak into the microphone, otherwise people at home can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
No.
I support what the gentleman in front of me said. I thought that was great. And I agree with him. But I'm here for another purpose tonight, and that is I just want to thank you so much for the work you're doing. I'm grateful that you're here today and that you're giving me the chance to speak. I wanted to take some time to share some of the latest news with you regarding climate change. A few weeks ago, the New York Times featured a headline that grabbed a lot of Michiganders' attention: a battle between a great city and a great lake. The city it referred to was Chicago, the lake, Lake Michigan, of course. We're all familiar with climate headlines these days, but usually they're talking about California or Oregon, not our backyard and not our Lake Michigan. The article opens up saying, in the search for a big city refuge from climate change, Chicago looks like an excellent option. Why? Partially because Chicago has access to fresh water. Lots of it. And when it comes to the climate emergency, water is a resource in high demand. The Great Lakes regions are also predicted to be fairly stable compared to what the rest of the country might face in the light of climate change. But now, scientists are saying there might be a catch. The article's author, Dan Egan, writes that the same waters that gave life to the city of Chicago threaten it today because Chicago is built on a shaky prospect. The idea that the swamp that was drained will stay tamed and that Lake Michigan's shoreline will remain in essentially the same place it's been in for the last 300 years. Climate change has started pushing Lake Michigan's water levels toward uncharted territory as patterns of rain, snowfall, and evaporation are transformed by the warming world. In the past years, Lake Michigan water levels have seesawed severely. I don't need to tell you that. You've probably witnessed that. Record highs result in buildings falling into the water, whereas record lows threaten the flow of the Chicago River, which means that instead of Chicago's wastewater flowing out and down the river toward the Gulf of Mexico, it could switch and flow into Lake Michigan, Chicago's source of drinking water. Climate change is not a distant prospect, it's at our shores. That's why it's important we take action as quickly as possible. If we lower our community's carbon footprint by 50% each decade until 2050, we can reach carbon neutrality in Holland and do our part to ensure a good future for our lake and all its communities. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to address council at this time? And Mr. Story, would you please state your name and address for the record?
Thank you, Mayor Bocks. I'd be very happy to. Jim Story, 344 West 35th Street in the Allegan County portion of the city of Holland. And I'm very happy to be back with you in person. It's been a while since I've had a chance to visit with you. I know you've missed the scintillating reports, but we'd like to update you on what's been happening south of 32nd Street in our county. First of all, I think it's very interesting to be here at the midpoint of National Farmers Market Week. And of course, one of the great attractions in Holland, popular beyond, I think, all measure, is our farmers market, and over half of the food vendors, farmers vendors, are residents of Allegan County, whether they're in Fillmore Township, Booby's Farm Market and Farm Products, or South Haven. Yes, there are a portion of South Haven is in Allegan County. 7 great souls from that city live in Allegan County. Pullman and Fenville, Allegan, and even as far east as Wayland and Plainwell make up over half of the farmer vendors in the farmers market. So we salute them and also thank the city for providing that venue for them to market their wares. A couple of other things that are going on. Effective on July 1st, an ordinance passed by our county commission took effect that allowed the operation of off-road vehicles on county roads. We thus became county number 66 in Michigan to allow ORVs on our county roads, except 30% of them that have been exempted for that use by our road commission, largely confining them to, of course, much less traveled roads, but allowing, people who have more and more become popular in acquiring these things to use them for a number of activities I wasn't aware of over the year and a half that we considered this ordinance. We have also created a broadband action group, and I'm pleased to say that the Board of Public Works has selected a member of its staff to participate in that. About 34% of our county's residents do not have access to broadband or high-speed internet, and that became quickly known as a problem in our county. Elsewhere, with the COVID vaccine pandemic, when a lot of people were confined and could not find a way to conduct school, work, or even health activities. So we hope to work on that and get that number reduced. Emulating the longstanding practice of the council here, our Board of Commissioners has been live streaming our county commission meetings since late March, in addition to, of course, Zooming our meetings to anyone who wishes to participate. Again, it's probably not exciting TV, but at least it allows people access. And I think it's very important in our case because, as with many other county commissions, we meet during the day. although we do have 2 night meetings a year, but we meet during the day, so people can now, catch up with what their county commission is doing. And then one other thing before I introduce the guests that I brought with me tonight is, together with you, Mayor, I serve on the Macatawa Area Coordinating Council, and we've had kind of a revolving door in our director's slot, and I'm concerned about its future. I think it's very important that we keep the MAC in existence for regional cooperation. Obviously, we know many, many problems that local governments face across jurisdictional boundaries, and so putting some time and attention into making sure that we don't lose this important resource for community conversation and, where necessary, action. I would like to now introduce to you Mark Whitty. Mark is the Executive Director of the Allegan County Community Mental Health Services Board, and it's an interesting fact that he shared with me a few weeks ago, and that is 10% of the clients that are served by Allegan County Community Mental Health claim Holland 49423 as their address. So it's an important service delivery organization, not only for all of our 118,000 residents, but more particularly for residents here in about Holland. He's been with us now for 5 years. When he came in as director, we frankly had an agency that had some division on it, both among the staff and among the board members. And of course, in those situations, the only people who lose
Mr. Mayor, Mr.
are the
Story's time is
residents.
up.
I'm sorry, Mr. Story, your time has expired. We're very strict about that even.
Hey, I agree.
Great.
So I thank you. I just wanted to introduce you. Thank you for
Great.
your time.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you all again.
Is there anyone else who would like to address council at this time? Seeing none, I will close the public comment period. Next item on the agenda, item number 6, special presentations and recognitions from the mayor or council or city manager. Item 6A, City of Holland awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for 2020. This is exciting news. Mr. Van Beek.
It is exciting
It
news
is.
because we have a fantastic team, and 2 of our leaders are here with us tonight to be recognized. First, I'm going to stop calling her our new finance director because she's now been through the budget the first time, did a fantastic job. But Lynn McCammon and Michelle Price just did a fantastic job, and I think you saw the results of that. The budget in brief in particular was just one high point that I think that you all were able to see in the process that we went through. Just a great way, concise way to communicate a lot of information. The rumor has it that the mayor loves distilling 300 and some pages of information down to maybe 4 or 5 pieces of information. So
I've heard that that's true.
That's-
And it was
that
and
is-
it was done spectacularly well this year. Thank you very much. The mayor definitely appreciates that.
yes, but I think the citizens did too, because it's just a good way to take a lot of information. So I'm going to ask Lynn to come forward, and Michelle, if she's willing to come along with. All right, good job, Michelle. And maybe Lynn, if you can just describe a little bit more about the award and highlight and what it means for you, but more importantly for the department in the city.
Sure. Thank you. And thank you for having us and for the recognition. I do owe a lot of the credit to Michelle and the team in the finance department. We have a great team, and Michelle keeps us all running well. So the award is important for the city because it's not many organizations actually get it. I think it's around maybe 20% of the organizations in the country actually are awarded this, and there's strict criteria by the, you'll hear me say GFOA a lot, Government Finance Officers Association organization. They judge our document, and they're looking for certain standards, and we're proud that the city has achieved those standards because it means we're trying to achieve a very transparent and proper reporting tool, which is available for the residents and for your use and for even our internal use. So again, Michelle and her team get a lot of credit for this. So I'd be happy to answer any specific questions about the reporting, but
Yeah.
that
Any
is-
questions from council members? Nikki?
No, no, no.
Nope, nope. I saw you reaching for your microphone there.
No, I was turning it off.
All right.
No,
Anyone else?
just comment.
I just want to say thank you. Stellar work being done, and it's always a little tongue in cheek about how much the mayor loves budgets and pages and pages and pages of numbers. But you guys not only do incredible detail oriented work, but you make it understandable even for people like me. And as I was reading through the letter that came with the award, this is the highest award that GFOA, did I get that right?
Yep,
GFOA gives out. And I think, Keith, that you're right. We can no longer say that you are the new finance director. You filled big shoes. You've done it really well. Congratulations to you and to your staff, Michelle especially. I know that you love standing up there by the microphone. It's absolutely wonderful work. It's incredibly important work for the city, and I think it's very helpful for all of us as council members to know that we're working with that firm foundation of great numbers, great reporting, done so well. It helps make our jobs a whole lot easier as well. So we really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, Mr. Trethewey has something he would like to add.
The mayor jumped on me, and typically I don't speak after him, but part of the audit committee, I've been able to witness things that are going on in there. This is a long-standing tradition, going back to Larry and Tim and now you. I'm going to make one request, is that you don't minimize things in the upcoming budgets. You go all 300 pages every day for these guys while you do the presentation.
Thank you, Mike.
But congratulations. It's not an easy thing, and you guys make it look easy. And as was said before, this year was probably the most comprehensive, easiest to understand, and getting to the point and giving us the executive summary that we needed to have to make the decisions. So congratulations to you and the whole team, and thank you.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you, Mike. And you may step and talk after me anytime you would like to. Next item on the agenda, written petitions and communications. In addition to receiving public comment in person at our meetings, we started about a year and a half ago to provide the public the ability to send comments to the city council through an email address, and that email address is publiccomment@cityofholland.com. If you missed that the first time, it's publiccomment@cityofholland.com. We accumulate those emails over the course of the interim 2 weeks between our regular meetings. Council members do read all of them. We do not read them out loud during the meetings, but we do accept them as part of the record. And we have 2 of them this week, and I would entertain a motion from council to accept those into the record.
So moved.
Moved by Trethewey. Is there support?
Support?
Support by Hoekstra. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, I believe, is our item that was pulled off of the consent agenda. That is item 12D, correct? Did I write that?
12D3.
12D3, thank you. 12D3. I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Van Beek.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. So this is one of, from my recollection, 3 kind of relatively consistent firework permit requests that we receive in most years. And those 3 are, first, the Macatawa Area Coordinating Council's request for fireworks that typically happens on the 4th of July and it's August 20 this year, so it's a different date. The second would be quite often at the end of the Tulip Time parade, there's community fireworks. And then the third is this one in particular, and it's kind of a long-standing partnership with Hope College Community Days, recognizing both the return of the students, but also the involvement of Hope College in the community. So these are 3 what I'd call relatively consistent requests that we have for fireworks in the community. And then periodically, I think we had one earlier this year, the end of last year, where once in a great while, I think I asked staff and they said, yeah, maybe once every 4, 5, 6 years, there's a private display of fireworks in some ways. that sometimes procedurally also through the state that gives the permits has to stop here first. So with that's the information, and specifically the request in front of you tonight is to approve this permit application as received from Hope College for fireworks on Friday, September 3. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thanks, Keith. Any questions?
Yeah,
Lynn?
so the reason I asked to pull it off is just to kind of understand how these private fireworks operate and how they are communicated to the city. Because I think with that most recent one, that was private off of Padno's property. In the middle of the night, I got, well, not the middle of the night, 10 o'clock, I started getting text messages and people were posting on Facebook, what is this, what's happening? Nobody knew what was going on, and it was incredibly loud. So I just wanted to get a sense of how that gets communicated to the broader community, because I think it just caught, that particular one really caught people off guard.
Yeah, so with these other three, quite frankly, that are more tradition-based, we quite often will rely on the requesting entity, and then we supplement it ourselves. So Tulip Time will take kind of primary for the Tulip Time ones. Hope College takes primarily for the Hope College ones. But Mary Ann on our communications team will supplement that. I think with these three, they're almost always in the newspaper. With the private ones, there's not as much. We do put those communications out, but as councils had these discussions, right? We put stuff out, and things that people are interested in or that they're following us, they find out about it, and then things that they don't or otherwise, then there's always, oh, we didn't know about it. And we understand how that works. So we try to put it out there. I don't remember if the Sentinel, I think WHTC actually picked up a story on that private fireworks, but again, totally acknowledge it doesn't reach everybody.
All right. Any other questions? No? All right. Entertain a motion in regard to item 12D3.
Move that we approve.
Moved by Ernst. Is there support? Support by Byrd. Yeah, shut up, Mr. Trethewey, on that one. Nice job, Quincy and Nikki. Any discussion? Kathy, let's do a roll call vote on this.
Trethewey,
Yes.
Arnshorst,
Yes.
Corbin. Yes. Hoekstra,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Byrd,
Yes.
Mayor Bocks.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you. Next item on the agenda, item 12E 6.1, gifts. Kathy, would you please review the gifts for us?
The city manager's office is pleased to report the following gifts: Parks and Recreation Bench Park for downtown, anonymous donor $287. Parks and Recreation Kids Triathlon Program, in-kind sponsorship donation $250. It is recommended that these donations be accepted with appreciation, credited to the appropriate account, and an expression of gratitude be forwarded to said donors.
Great, thank you, Kathy. What is the pleasure of council in regard to the gifts?
Motion to accept with appreciation.
Moved by Trethewey. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Byrd. Any discussion by council? I just have one question or comment. Is that bench already in place downtown? Does staff know? Because I noticed a brand-new bench downtown this morning, and it was gorgeous.
I believe it is,
Okay.
but we'd have to confirm that with Mr. Kenyon.
Okay, because there is a brand-new bench in front of the bank right downtown on 8th Street, so and it stood out and how wonderful it looks.
Matt will inspect it during his lunchtime run tomorrow, would be my guess.
All right, great, thank you. All right, we have a motion, we have support. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of accepting the gifts, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 13, communications from the city manager at 6:34 p.m.
And what that means for the listening public that may not be interested is that means that I can actually say some things because
You may
it's still
take all-
somewhat early.
All the time you want. I know you don't have anything else planned for this evening.
No, my car is packed and I'm ready for a 2-day vacation here coming up, so I will not take too much time. First of all, I came across a note that I had wrote to myself a long time ago, and Cinca is executing it for us. But be on the lookout. We will have a care package for all of you, which are thank you notes, with an envelope that shows it's Holland City Council. You'll recall that, I forget if it was at Advance or a study session, we had a discussion and talked about maybe giving you the opportunity to have those thank you notes. Kind of, I think someone used the example of when you catch an employee or a resident doing something cool, then you get to shower them with a thank you note for it. So we are finalizing that, so expect that information in your mailbox, or we'll just leave it at your place here in the next couple weeks. We have for you a slide here. The community energy plan, specifically the strategic development team. I'm not trying to steal any thunder from
Scott.
members Corbin and Ahrensthorst, but been making great progress on that work. Most recently, the group on Monday really came to a interim. I sound like the federal government right now. The interim draft guideline steps on the CP goal, strategy, and action steps, which is again the task that they were given by the mayor to update the CEP for the through the time period of 2025. There's going to be an open house for the community where you can come in. You can, we will definitely make sure that all of that information is pushed out again. All the information on the strategic development team can be found on the city website. All of those meetings have been taped, so you can watch them all in great detail if you want, but there's also an abundance of information that that group has been studying and working on. The intent of this open house is so that those 8 members will be here between the hours of 4 and 6. And again on Monday, August 16, right here in this room in the council chambers. And people can look at the information, can ask questions, and can give feedback to the SDT members. The SDT also has been doing a listening tour, if you would, of major businesses, in particular those that may have a sustainability component integrated into their operations. And we are also, now that these draft goal strategies are completed, are also constructing a community survey that the Frost Center is going to be assisting with. So this open house is, again, just one more opportunity for the public to learn about the work that's been done up until this point in time, but also the recommended strategies that the SDT will eventually bring back in the form of recommendations to City Council. And there are light refreshments provided, so you know, if that pulls out some interest, that's always good too. And then the mayor, I hope everybody has watched this, and maybe we'll even play it now if people are interested, but the mayor described to the rest of council here recently that kind of the fireside chat is what we initially called it during COVID, just the need for information to go out to the public when the pandemic initially hit. And the mayor was cranking out 1-2 videos a week quite often, just on a variety of topics. And we received recognition for that, both from the state association, but really fantastic feedback from the community on those messages. And while we thought it would be good to have a little gap in time through all of that, we've launched now a mayor's message that we're targeting for once a month, just as another way to send information out to the community. So I can play that now. It's my time, so I can do what I want, right?
Talking about this beforehand.
All right, let's see how this goes. Let's see if I click one more.
People of Holland, I'm your mayor, Nathan Bocks. I'm standing inside our own Holland Board of Public Works 4-year-old electric generating plant. Did you know that our BPW is so efficient that this year we paid off most of the construction bonds on this plant early, saving you over $40 million in interest? And did you know that we took that savings and on July 1 lowered your electric rates by 10%? And did you know you can now choose to receive your electricity from 100% renewable sources for the same rate that you were paying for your regular service in June? Our BPW provides electricity, water, and wastewater services to the City of Holland and beyond. It is also the source of our world-famous, ever-expanding snowmelt system. Did you know that we also provide broadband internet to the downtown area? And did you know that we're working on a plan to provide high-speed fiber internet to every single home in the City of Holland? Over the last year, our City Council and City employees have been working hard and making progress on our goals and planning for the future. I'd like to share some of our other accomplishments and where we're headed. Throughout the pandemic, our city worked with our downtown merchants to increase the availability of outdoor seating, promote local patronage, and establish a downtown social district to encourage customers to stay downtown both before and after their dinner reservations. This summer, street performers are back. Downtown parks and planters are full of flowers from the city's new grow house, and our shops and sidewalks are full. Last August, Holland passed a comprehensive non-discrimination ordinance protecting the rights of every person equally, sending a clear and unequivocal message that we welcome all who want to make positive contributions to our city, and we celebrate the value of everyone who calls Holland home. 6 months ago, I appointed a Blue Ribbon Task Force, our strategic development team, to review our 40-year community energy plan. This group of smart, thoughtful leaders is working diligently to bring environmental recommendations to council that are meaningful, measurable, achievable, and affordable. We're looking forward to reviewing and acting on those recommendations this fall to keep Holland's designation as the greenest city in Michigan. For the last 3 years, your Planning Commission, together with city staff and consultants, have been updating and consolidating our zoning and planning laws. Decades-old language that was scattered throughout the city code. This single, unified development ordinance will make Holland a leader in planning and development. And it'll make it more understandable for anyone who wants to improve their property, whether you're a homeowner building a fence or an investor redeveloping a tired strip mall. In the coming months, look for changes to the Holland skyline to the north of downtown. The Board of Public Works has already begun construction of our new anaerobic digester. This 100-foot tall egg will dramatically reduce the volume of wastewater solids that need to be trucked to landfills, saving millions of dollars in the years to come. We're also working on an extension of College Avenue, north of 6th Street, for future development. Soil borings are already being completed and exciting preliminary plans are being proposed. Stay tuned for more on this in the future. And we've been moving forward with Waterfront Holland. The city has issued a request for proposals from developers who are interested in adding to the tens of millions of dollars of new investment that we've seen in our city, even during the pandemic. We're excited to see what they propose for the future of Holland's waterfront. Any project involving city-owned waterfront property will require a 60% approval vote of city residents. We'll continue to keep you updated as this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity progresses. This has been just a quick overview of a few of the many great things that we have been and continue to work on. The City of Holland has always been a community of big dreams and careful planning, with the willingness to do the hard work needed to bring our plans to fruition, always building on the firm foundation laid by those who came before us. I'll continue to give you updates on how we're working to maximize livability for all residents, because this is Holland, one Holland. Our future is bright, and we get to live here. And don't forget, wash your hands again.
We had to wait to that was going to come back in. So as you can tell, the mayor does enjoy doing these videos, and he does a really nice job too. So we're hopeful that this just is one more thing that we can do to communicate to our citizens and let them know what we are all working on. And finally, just really great night. So good to see so many of you out last night at National Night Out at Holland Park. Paired with the American Legion Band. Just a fantastic turnout, fantastic community event. And we're also looking forward as we continue to promote the International Festival. So continue to look at that. I think Esther and Luann from her office hopefully sent out to all of you different information in really easy ways where you can share that information in your emails, in your social media, and others. And with that, Mayor, I am done.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Van Beek. Next item is appointments and communications from the mayor. First communications, I have a 5-minute YouTube video I'd like to play for everyone. We could do that? Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah. No, that's all right. That's all right. That's they've endured enough. They've endured enough. I do have one appointment, and I would ask the council to please accept the appointment of Nate Bosch. That's Nate Bosch, B-O-S-C-H, to the Planning Commission for a partial term. Said partial term expiring on June 30 of 2023. Mr. Bosch will replace Commissioner Andrew Blunt, who resigned effective April 14 of 2021. And then I also ask the council to please accept the resignation of Andrew Blunt from the Planning Commission effective on April 14, 2021.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Trethewey. Is there support? Support by Corbin. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 15, appointments, motions, and communications from council members.
I know Council Member Corbin and I outsourced our report on the strategic development team to the manager. So you've heard it. It was very good. And that's essentially, we're coming to the end of our revisiting the community energy plan. And so you will please come to the open house on the 16th, and you can participate, give us input, and see what we've done so far. So thank you.
Great. Thank you. Yes, Lynn.
Yeah, so I was wondering, in response to the question that Mr. De La Rosa posed, I can't imagine that the Outdoor Discovery Center doesn't incorporate some kind of inclusive or accessible components. So I know they've already broken ground. I think I heard you talking about that earlier, and I'm looking at Matt, so I think well, just wondering if you have any kind of idea of what they might incorporate into that new playground at Window on the Waterfront.
So I'd be a little hesitant to speak exactly to
Yeah.
the handicap features just because I wasn't involved in the design of that project. But I do know that speaking with the construction folks on site, the grades are such in all of the areas that are in there that they are handicapped accessible for folks with a wheelchair. I will say that there are a lot of textures and things that people will be able to touch regardless of how they enjoy that park. So we would need to have somebody specifically speak to what an ADA requirement would be, and that's not my area of expertise. But I will say there are going to be some opportunities in there. It'll be real wheelchair accessible. It will be graded so that those folks that are in wheelchairs can get around, and then there will be a lot of stuff that's tactile and can be touched and played with.
Thank you. And I also remember when Andy from the Parks Department gave a report on the Centennial Park Plan, they also included a sensory garden as an option in that plan. So you know, hopefully as we think about parks in the future, it seems like we're looking into those kinds of components.
And Matt and I will probably, Lynn, one other thing to add, and I'm gonna have Matt talk about Lakeview. I knew that I was gonna get that wrong. Because that was our most recent ad that very much was intentional in how we designed that park and what we incorporated it into that. And we're really using that as a model for as we go through our park structures moving forward. So not to put you too much on the spot there, Matt, but you
Well,
knew
I
the
think
name
that's-
better than I
that's
did. So.
Quite clearly, yeah, putting me exactly on the spot, actually, ahead of your vacation.
No, you can. I know you can handle it, Matt.
So, yeah, so there were specific elements that were inclusive to all children that would be potentially using that facility. I'd hesitate to speak to exactly what was included, but that is pretty intentional. The Parks Department, Andy, Jamie, and now Garrett all have a role in that. And they want to make sure that any play structure that we build lets everyone play on it. You know, there may be features that some folks can't use, but we want to make sure that there are features that everyone can use. So that is in their mind. And I think really that's more in that industry's mind moving forward. You know, if you think 70s, 80s, perhaps we didn't think about that for all people. But I think as we move forward, the playground industry itself is actually saying, hey, we want to make sure that we've got inclusive elements in all of our playgrounds. And our staff is working towards that. That capital improvement plan, as you remember, we've got monies moving forward to replace playground after playground after playground after playground because they do have a limited useful life of around 20 years. We will make sure that we include elements that everyone can use in each of those new playground replacements.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Matt. Scott, did you have anything to add? Nope. All right, great. Anyone else? Any other comments, items from council members? Seeing none, it's one additional motion that I would entertain.
Motion to adjourn.
Moved by Trethewey. Is there support?
Support.
Support by, I'm going to give that one to Hoekstra. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. We are adjourned.